Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Evil Mojo and a lot of the changes that they've been making in Paladins. Now the reason that the video is titled Are They in Trouble is because it's not like they're making changes to streamline the game. They're making changes that are very popular within the Paladins community. So obviously, firstly, the big change we saw was the removal of third person a couple months ago. Huge controversial change. Yeah, there were some people who didn't really care because they played in exclusively first person, but a large portion of the community played in exclusively third person. And then there are people who switched between third and first. And the biggest issue to me out of all this is the way that they generate revenue for this game is through the purchasing of cosmetic items. And a lot of people buy those items because they can see them on their character as they're playing. And so that was one of the big things that people were talking about for the removal of third person. People still talk about it now. I still get people who reach out to me about it. Hey, are they bringing it back? Like, I don't want to play the game in first person. I don't like it. I feel claustrophobic. I don't think it's coming back, to be honest with you. Anyway, so that's the big thing. And then the most recent large patch, they removed two other key features. And you may have seen this if you've been playing the game lately. One is the death recap screen where it shows pretty much how you died, which to me is a huge deal because that screen allows you to improve your playstyle. Okay, how did I die? What am I doing wrong? How, that I always tell people, watch that so that you can better yourself. You should always be trying to improve yourself on each individual character. So that's a huge thing. And then the second thing was the like the kill of the game, or whatever you want to call it, whatever it was called, the play of the game. And so that was where, after the game was over, it showed that one person who did something in the game that was amazing. Usually, it's this guy who lands the bomb, or the victor who lands the aerial strike, or whatever. And, it's a big deal getting that accolade. It's a big deal for a lot of people. Well, those features are gone. Those three features. Third person, obviously, for a while. The death recap cam, and the play of the game. Now, the reason that those features were removed, and I'm paraphrasing here, but this is the reason why. It all comes down to development cycles and money. And that's why I say that, that's why I'm saying, are they in trouble? Is this game in trouble? Because they're trimming things out that are popular parts of the game to save money, to save development cycles. And so if you're taking away key features in order to save money, that means that, in my opinion, you're in some sort of financial situation where you've got to make this game work, or it's pretty much over. And so just going back to the development cycles and the money. With the third person, the issue was that whenever they introduced new content, they had to make sure that it worked well from the third person perspective as well as the first person. But like as far as like the camera maybe clipping into walls or whatever the case may be, or certain animations. So it took longer for them to release content. This is what they said, which may be true. I mean, I'm sure it's true to any extent, but to the extent that they're exaggerating it of how much longer it takes to develop, because you can still ride on your horse in third person, you can still emote and go to third person. So I don't know about exactly what they're talking about. Obviously those things are different than playing a fast-paced game in third person. But anyway, so that was for the third person thing. Now the death cam and the play of the game are very similar in why they removed them. Those two things require a piece of information to be stored on a device, and you have to. So for the death cam, when after you die and it shows you your death, well, your client system, your PlayStation or your PC or whatever, has to ping their servers, and it has to store that information on the server of that death and play it back to you. It's not stored locally on your device. And so they have to store all those deaths constantly, and I'm sure that they have like a certain window of how long they keep data stored. And all of that is additional hardware resources to spin up. And that's the same thing for the play of the game is now, throughout the whole game, they have to record the game, and, whatever algorithm determines what the play of the game was. Well, now that recording has to be played back to all the people who were in that game. And it takes additional resources. It takes additional networking and processing and storage resources. And so from a technical standpoint, it does cost more money to do those things. But the issue that I have is that these are very popular features. They're features that people like. And honestly, the game, I love the game. It's just weird without the death recap. Now you get like a live view every time you get I think it used to be sometimes you get a death recap and sometimes you get a live view. Now you just get a live view of someone else on your team, and at the end of the game it's just nothing. The game's over, and then it goes to the screen, and then they changed some other stuff that was kind of weird to make everyone feel more inclusive versus just the people who were contributing the most. And I think that's kind of strange, but that's not really a super big deal, even though at the end of the game it used to be nice that no matter what team you were on, whoever from their metrics performed their job the best would be on, they would be like a top player, regardless of what team you were on. And they added accommodations and stuff too. But yeah, just some really key features taken away to save money. Solely to save money, but I'm interested to see if it costs them money in the long run, especially with third person, because I know that they had a roundtable about this. They knew exactly that there were people who purchased the items, the cosmetic items, to play in third person. They knew that when they took it away, so they knew that they were going to take a hit to that portion of the revenue. But I'm guessing they thought that the overall operating expense would be less than the lost revenue from those people. Anyway, so that's some stuff that's going on. That's why I think maybe the game is in trouble if they're cutting all these features out to streamline the game. It's not like they're cutting out things that people aren't going to miss. The game is just strange now. Maybe they're trying to revamp the player base and get some new people interested in the game. But it sounds like a last-ditch effort to me. And obviously, like, if the game's in trouble, they're not going to publicly tell everybody the game's in trouble. But, this might be an effort, like their last chance to streamline this game. I'm thinking. I might be wrong, but I don't know. It's kind of odd to me. When you take out key features to save money, you're like, we're not making enough money to have these features in, even though the player base loves it. That's when I think companies get in trouble. And make no mistake, if a game isn't performing well, regardless of the studio, Hi-Rez will shut it down. They've done it already. They did it with their Smite card game. I guess they thought that was going to be a huge hit. There wasn't really anything for them to generate good revenue on that game, even though I think there was a good player base. They shut it down. Obviously, Smite's generating good money, and they're doing really well. But Paladins, if it doesn't, I'm guessing if it doesn't show like a steady revenue stream or it doesn't come up with a plan, they're probably, I'm assuming just based off of past experiences with Hi-Rez and other publishing companies, probably going to shut it down. Anyway, tell me your thoughts below. Let me know what you think about these changes. Obviously, the overwhelming community opinion is that they don't like the changes. But just voice it to the developers. I mean, no, people didn't like the old or the VGS, and the developers are working on that as well. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Anyway, guys, like, subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching.